Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today in gaming, Rust is getting a console beta, a new co-op Aliens game was announced, Epic bought Fall Guys, and much more. The console port of Rust is finally making its way to launch. The devs posted a new trailer this morning. You can sign up for the closed beta on their website, and it now ends on the 29th. There's no official start date for the beta or console release, but players say they're already receiving their keys. Rust's console port was supposed to be out last year, but it was delayed because of the pandemic. Since then, it's had a meteoric rise to the top of Twitch's most viewed games and Steam's player count charts. While the increase in popularity was mostly from big-name streamers playing the game, it's led to a resurgence in popularity for the game that isn't dying down. It's perfect timing to have a beta, especially for a long-awaited console port. As for how the game will look and play on console, the trailer is very promising. Rust isn't exactly Crysis, so it should run quite well on consoles. It's safe to assume you'll get a 4K 60 FPS experience on the next-gen consoles when the game finally launches. Unfortunately, the beta is behind a strict NDA. We won't be getting any footage of it outside of people with special permissions or paid by devs to promote the game. A new game in the Aliens film universe called Aliens Fireteam just got a reveal trailer. It's a third-person co-op survival shooter in the style of Left 4 Dead. It'll support lobbies of 3 players and is online only. You will be able to play with AI bots though. The game is set 23 years after the original movies and has you playing as a group of Marines ordered to protect frontier colonies. Things go sideways of course, and you'll have to fight off hordes of aliens and androids. Cold Iron Studios are developing the game. It'll be their first game to hit the market. The studio has been bought 4 times since its formation in 2015. Daybreak Games bought them last year. Early previews of Aliens Fireteam have left reviewers with mixed feelings. PC Gamer describes the concept as low-hanging fruit for an Aliens game. They've described it as a mix of The Division and Left 4 Dead and that it shows potential. It releases this summer on PC and console. The former studio working on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, Hardsuit Labs, was hit with a round of layoffs this week after being fired from the project by the game's publisher, Paradox. According to some of the let-go employees, the studio's entire narrative team was laid off. Bloodlines 2 has been delayed multiple times and faced significant setbacks when Paradox fired senior devs working on it. The original Vampire game is considered a landmark RPG. Despite its age and problems, it stood the test of time as an innovative game with complex mechanics and storylines. The senior devs that Paradox fired from the project were central to the development of the first game. Without them, it's unclear how the sequel will fare if it even happens at all. Publishers firing an entire studio is a big deal. Things must have been going very bad. Paradox also have a battle royale game in the works based on Bloodlines. Development is being handled by Shark Mob, which is a separate studio from Hardsuit. Epic's lawsuit against Apple finally has a court date. The trial begins on May 3rd. The case is severe enough that the judge has ordered it to be an in-person trial, despite all the restrictions and issues that actually presents right now. If anyone involved in the case cannot comply with those restrictions or COVID cases remain high, the trial will be pushed back. The legal battle between Epic and Google is probably going to last several months, if not years. Both parties are suing each other, and there will be an appeals process regardless of who wins the case. In other Epic news, the Fortnite mega publisher bought the parent company of the Fall Guys studio, Tonic Games. Fall Guys became a household name on launch last year thanks to booming Twitch viewership. It was easily one of the biggest games of 2020 despite being a relatively simple game from a small studio. The deal should help the game's developers add features like account systems, crossplay, squad versus squad modes, and more. It also probably means the developers got a massive payday. Eventually, Fall Guys will be available on the Epic Game Store. That could mean it'll be removed from Steam like Rocket League was when Epic bought the game's developer. We have new gameplay footage of Apex Legends running on the Nintendo Switch. Now, obviously take this with a pinch of salt as it's technically just a trailer, but it does look cool. Panic Button helped Respawn put it together. They recently handled the Switch port of Doom Eternal and Warframe. Nintendo's console might be underpowered, but Panic Button are wizards. All of their ports have turned out to be solid translations of some high-profile and demanding titles. Unfortunately, the trailer is in 30 FPS, so there's no way to tell what FPS the game is actually running at. It launches on the 9th and will support crossplay on day 1. A glitch is letting Destiny 2 players raid in parties of 12. Typically, you're limited to 6 players in raids. That's what the enemies and puzzles are all balanced for, so when you double the player count, things get pretty insane. Players using this glitch can run through challenging encounters in half the time, and they deal so much damage that it tanks the game's frame rate. In some cases, players are even crashing the server by dealing absurd amounts of damage all at once. While many players are calling for the glitch to become an official mode, it's unclear what Bungie intends to do. They'll probably just patch the exploit in a future update, and that'll be the end of the story. Ark Survival Evolved was supposed to get its final DLC this month, but it's been delayed to May 26th. Ark's history is pretty troubled. Between accusations about stolen code, botched DLC plans, price changes, lack of quality, and more, it's a surprise how popular the game actually became. This final DLC is called Genesis 2 and serves as a send-off for the game as the team transitions to Ark 2. That game will expand on Ark's narrative and in-game content. Frogwares, the developers of the RPG The Sinking City, are urging people not to buy it on Steam. They've been in a legal fight with the game's publisher over missed payments and copyright issues. They claim the publisher, Nioh, pirated the game and listed that version of it on Steam last week. Frogwares pulled the game from digital distribution to prevent Nioh from profiting off of it a while ago. On top of accusing Nioh of pirating the game, they also said the publisher hacked it to remove their watermark, logos, and other elements. The test server for Rainbow Six Siege just got an update that re-enables Fuse and fixes a bug with the new operator Flores. Fuse was disabled because of a bug that could make the game crash. The test server is currently hosting the game's next operation, Crimson Heist. Once issues like this are resolved, it'll launch on the game's live servers. Nioh 2 on PC has been updated with a fix for its broken keyboard and mouse prompts. The game launched last month with a slew of technical and performance issues, but the developers have been quick to address them. The last major update for the game added DLSS and made some big improvements to overall performance. If you were on the fence about buying Nioh 2, it sounds like the game is pretty well polished on PC at this point. Before we get to today's final story, just a heads up that if you want the latest breaking game news, follow our Twitter, TikTok, and Shorts channel. We'll post every day's top stories as bite-sized clips before Today in Gaming goes live. It's a great way of getting filled in early without having to wait for the full video. Links to everything are below. Ubisoft's arena shooter battle royale Hyperscape is getting a facelift on March 11th with its Season 3 update. The map will be expanded, adding more space for combat. Existing landmarks are also being fleshed out with new pathways and building. The center of the map will also erupt, changing the environment around it. And that wraps it up for Today in Gaming. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.